Good afternoon, Senator. We want to welcome you to the Green Valley Democrats. We'd like to know what's going on in the Senate. Can you fill us in on some topics?
Oh, thank you, George, and hello, everyone. Today is June 7th, 2021, and the House met for the on the budget, but I'll get into that in a little details. But I wanted to say a little bit about myself, and thank you, George, for this opportunity, and the Green Valley Democrats for this conversation. So I'm hopefully we can have this open dialogue, and please interrupt me at any time if you have any direct questions, because it's all about informing my constituents so anyway, I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So here we are, June 7th, and the House has met for the budget, and now they have actually adjourned until Thursday. What happened, and I only got to watch a little bit of the budget proceedings or the discussions today, and Representative Cook, actually true to his word, said that he would not support the flat tax, and so that tax burb was actually voted down. So that's a very good thing. So here we are. The Senate has not will not be coming back until Thursday, but with anything with the legislature, we just never know when we'll be back. And so plans is that the House will be coming back on this coming Thursday, and then the Senate will as well. At this time, we don't have agenda, so we don't know what's going on. However, the Governor Ducey had actually vetoed 22 bills. And what happened today is those 22 bills were actually first read again in the House. So I'm looking at perhaps the Senate will be doing the same, or it'll just go through the process through the House, and then it'll come to the Senate, because the governor actually was, I guess, and I will quote what he said was he was disappointed that he doesn't have a budget on his desk. Well, however, there's just too much conversations going on regarding the budget, and unfortunately, the Democrats are not part of that conversation. We're ready to fight for a budget that rebuilds, it revitalizes, and it reinvests in Arizona, and we're ready to talk. The Senate and the House Democrats have told the governor, they've told the Senate leadership in the House and the Senate that when we return, we're going to have to continue working on a budget that is good for the state of Arizona. Right now, with this flat tax, the budget is not something that we as Democrats can support. And I will specifically talk myself. I just don't see myself supporting any of the budget, even though some part of the budgets are good. But overall, I cannot support the budget. So that's what's going on right now. But I'd like to talk about other topics, and so I'm going to continue to talk about that. You can't pick up any kind of newspaper or watch the news regarding water sustainability. Arizona, well, the Southwest is facing a 20+ year drought, and we're right now in an extreme drought. So think about that. Running out of water is not something that the state of Arizona should be doing. And these conversations have been lacking over the years. Even though I have been in the legislatures since 2013, and I spent 8 years in the House, and now this is my first term in the Senate, and it's such an honor to serve you. But however, during those years, we have not really worked very hard to actually look at legislation that's going to address not only what's called the active management areas, but everything that's outside as well. We are one state, and when it comes to water sustainability, we are part of 7 states. You have the upper basin states and you have the lower basin states. And so when we look at these conversations, we did good things regarding the drought contingency plan. However, this was not something that was the overall solution to what's happening in regards to Lake Mead and the Colorado River. And that actually just addresses central Arizona. because it provides water into the Central Arizona project. But if you look at the bigger picture, the overpumping that's outside of what these active management areas, these AMAs, is something that we need to continue to address. So water is very important. And my last comment on that is that you don't know the value of your water until your well runs dry. Arizona cannot do that. We cannot look at that and sit there and say, oh, these wells are going to run dry, because this is what we can't sustain. We cannot be sustainable if we do not have a proper water supply. So COVID-19, a lot of people are facing eviction. A lot of people are looking at food security, and I applaud Pima County and Santa Cruz County for stepping up in regards to that. They have services for our constituents. However, the state of Arizona is not addressing that when it comes to funding, appropriations. We need to have more money come into our counties and our municipalities so that we can address evictions, food security, healthcare, but I have to say I applaud the state of Arizona regarding vaccinations. Anybody can get a vaccine. I'm talking adult. But right now it's open to 12-year-olds and older. And so, I encourage each and every one of you to go get vaccinated. It's my understanding it's safe. And what that's going to do, it's going to help overall our quality of health in the state of Arizona. George, if you have any questions on those two topics or the three topics, I'll be more than happy to answer them, or I can continue.
I've got.
I appreciate that. Public education is something that is very important. And let me define how I view public education. It's early childhood development. It's pre-K through 12. Our higher education, so it could be our universities, our community colleges, JTED, CTE, adult education. So the state of Arizona, we're all lifelong learners. And so the investment in public education is very important, because that's our foundation when it comes to our state. If we don't have a strong foundation called public education, we're not going to be able to build. We're not going to be able to move forward. And so when it comes, Prop 208, when it was passed, the voters passed it. And what this does is it gives more money to our public education. And it's unfortunate that my colleagues from across the aisle are attacking that. And so this flat tax, is my understanding, is the flat tax would actually impact the percentage of what these individuals will be paying towards public education. So again, as years before, my colleagues from across the aisle are attacking what the voters of the state of Arizona want to do, because we as the legislature, we have failed our public education system. And so when it comes to public education should not be based on the appropriations to public education, not be based on cuts to our corporations and our wealthiest. They're making more money than most of us. And so again, this flat tax is regressive. And this is really going to impact our most vulnerable population and individuals that are trying to survive, and they're basing it paycheck to paycheck, their quality of life, and we should not do that. So when it comes to public education, our teachers are heroes. They're my hero. And so not only our educators, but we need to support the staff that supports them, our bus drivers, our cafeteria workers, etc. And so I believe that our school board members, our administration, our public schools need to have those tools in the toolbox, but they need the funding to continue doing the good work that they're doing. And with COVID, it's a challenge. It's a challenge because some of our students cannot go back to school because their parents are fearful of of being able to feel safe that their children are in our schools. So then that leads me into the COVID-19, where when we were, you know, I've heard from many teachers, I've heard from administrators, I've heard from school board members, is that they want to make the decisions regarding if a school will require students to wear masks. I think that should be a local decision, and so I believe that's being debated across our state and our school board. Our school board meetings, and so I think it's very, very important that we continue to do that. So if I may continue, George, I want to talk about infrastructure and transport. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know specifically where that bill is, but if anybody is interested in it, please contact me. My email address is rgabaldon@azleg.gov. My apologies. I don't know specifically where that bill is. However, I want to talk to you about what that bill will do. It's going to punish our teachers by regulating what they're teaching. I believe that again goes back to a local decision as to what the curriculum, what the topics, what our students are being taught by our teachers, and my colleagues from across the aisle keep saying, oh, they need, parents need to know what's going on with their students. I don't see why a parent wouldn't be able to speak to a teacher or administrator or school board member as to what their children are being taught. So my apologies, I don't know specifically where that bill is. However, that is a bill that should not. That is something that we need to fight back, and we continue as Democrats to fight back on any kind of regulations on how our teachers are teaching, because we have the Arizona Department of Education that oversees that, our school board, our administrators, our teachers. I put a lot of faith in all of them.
Yeah, please continue on. Thank you very much for that input.
Thank you. So if I may continue, George, I want to talk about infrastructure and transportation. There was several what the budget was talking about in regards to infrastructure. I know that Senator Shope, my apologies, Senator Shope actually wanted to bring some money towards expanding I-10 the rest of the way. I don't know if you drive into Phoenix, or if you're exiting Phoenix, there's those 2 lanes. He wants to expand those to 3 lanes. And I think it's very important for us as a state in long-term planning to actually have those 3 lanes. I really like driving up there when we have the 3 lanes from Tucson all the way up to just before we hit Maricopa County. And it is something that is needed, and not only for safety, but for trade and commerce, for tourism, which brings in millions of dollars every year. So when it comes to transportation and infrastructure, I believe it's very, very important that we continue to look at the bigger picture. There's some roads up in northern Arizona that have not even been repaired or looked or have any kind of work in 50 years. I'm talking 50, because of the lack of revenue that the state gives to counties and municipalities when it comes to infrastructure. I'm very pleased that the state of Arizona invested in State Route 189, which is the flyover, so that trucks can go directly onto I-19 as opposed to get onto Mariposa Road, which is the State Route 189. And also there's been funding for smaller roads. And again, when we talk about infrastructure, I'm focusing on roads, but let's talk about our water system. Let's talk about our bridges. Let's talk about everything that we need to provide transportation. The American Society of Civil Engineers has actually said that that they give us grades. They grade states, and Arizona comes in with C's and D's when it comes to our infrastructure. So again, we have to continue to look at the bigger picture when it comes to that. Transportation. for years. And I remember when I was on the Sahuarita Town Council back in 2009, 2010, when we were actually talking about a rail train from between Tucson and Phoenix. That's always has come up. So I'm very pleased that the state of Arizona has looked at a study committee, and I'm hoping that Representative Andrada's bill that actually looks at a study committee for how we're going to spend federal funding that's going to come into the state of Arizona, because I know the Biden administration has actually said that there is going to be money for infrastructure for our states. And so how we do that, and sometimes part of this federal funding needs state match. And so, or a percentage of what we're going to get from the feds. And so looking at the bigger picture, I'm glad that we're going to, and it's going to be a bipartisan, where we're going to bring in not only legislators, but people that are on boots on the ground regarding our infrastructure, so that we can look at our priorities, and not only just in our roads, but also in infrastructure, dealing with our water system, electric, gas, etc. Broadband, I think, is very, very important. I didn't even touch on that. However, broadband is something that I know has been brought up on the federal level. We are lacking, the state of Arizona is lacking broadband. I know that there was getting back to public education, where these students didn't have the ability to have classes online because they did not have internet. And so again, it's wonderful that the governor is investing $10 million to put fiber along I-19, but how are we going to get that services to our outlying areas off that are not close to I-19? So again, infrastructure and transportation is very, very important. So those are the kind of the topics that I wanted to bring up. But George, if you have any specific questions, I hope I can answer them.
You've answered a lot of questions, so thank you very much. We appreciate your time and your hard work and driving back and forth to Phoenix so much.
And so please, if you are following me, or if you because I believe my posts on Facebook and Twitter are public, please watch. I will put a link so that if you're interested in watching the budget proceedings live, or again, you can always watch them because they're archived, is please look at my post on Facebook and on Twitter so that you can follow along. And as I said, right at this moment, June 7th at 1:30 in the afternoon, we are recessed. Both the Senate and the House are adjourned, and we will hopefully be on the floor on Thursday, this coming Thursday. So thank you very much. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I am your public servant. Again, rgabaldon at azleg.gov, or you can call me at area code 602-926-3424. My assistant's name is Dylan. He's a wonderful young man. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I am your public servant. George and Paul, thank you very much for this opportunity. It is an honor to serve my constituency.